Brainstorming and sharing ideas is the funnest part of the creative process. We decided to skip the boring part of actually making stuff and just do the fun part. I'm your host, Tom Wolma.
I'm Sarah Young.
I'm Nick Kelly.
And this is Creativity Wasted.
Well, first of all, I'd like to ask, did you just start this podcast so you can take an invention idea and are you just getting a bunch of people who are creative people together to give out their ideas so you can just patent something one day?
Steal them all.
I got a good one that I don't even think I want to say.
That's fine, actually. I used to do the intro, and I said ideas that you're not planning on using in real life.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
But I shortened
it. It's not too funny either. It's just a practical thing that might work and might be able to sell one day.
Yeah, we can try talking about it. Sometimes the practical ones are, some of them, sometimes we can figure out ways to make them interesting. Sometimes not.
Okay.
So, who knows?
All right. Well, how about this idea? It's more of a movie idea than anything. Have you ever heard of The Most Dangerous Game, the book or the movie?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I don't know if I've seen it, but I know where you're going, like hunting people. Yeah.
And actually, I'm not sure that connects perfectly fine, but the idea is more so like a Colosseum style. It's like an Illuminati Colosseum style battle between animals. Because me and my friends, I can talk for an hour about who would win in a fight between a gorilla and a grizzly bear. If my friend says a gorilla, I can't even. I'll be in bed thinking about it. What an idiot! The bear would win. It's faster. I think about these things constantly, and that's one of men in particular's favorite thing to go off about or talk about is which animal would beat what animal. The dumbest conversation of all time. But I was thinking like rich people, like a rich people Illuminati, where they bet essentially on who would win, and it'd have to be a secret society type of thing in a Coliseum type of environment, and a bear would battle a gorilla round one or whatever, and then a cobra battles fucking Mexican. I don't know.
Yeah, I would be interested in finding out who won for sure. I think you realize that you're saying Illuminati because the animal rights people would complain. There might be some country on Earth.
No, it had to be secret. That's the main thing. Think of it as a movie, less as a practical idea. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm thinking how sometimes they have to to shoot a lion or something because it's attacking people or because it's overpopulated in some area.
Sure, or it's an old lion that can't reproduce anymore and it's killing all the young ones that can.
So maybe you could figure out a way to get animals that you would have killed anyway because you had to, and have them fight, so it's less inhumane than otherwise. I guess still they're feeling the pain. Maybe you drug them up so they don't feel the pain.
Well, I'm not saying that it's humane at all, and I'm not saying I'm gonna do it at all. I'm saying that would make an interesting movie. I mean, it's like watching, you watch The Sopranos. Tony Soprano's a piece of shit, but it's interesting to watch. A lot of movies, the main character or the characters are pieces of shit doing something wrong. You ever seen Deer Hunter?
100 years ago.
Yeah. At the end with William Dafoe and Robert De Niro, they're playing this sport, Russian roulette, where rich people in, I think it was Taiwan or something like that, are betting on who's going to win the Russian roulette. And that's what actually gave me the idea. It was a combination of that and my love for discussing what animal would win. Really, it's. I mean, how fun is it to do? What do you think would win, an ostrich or an eagle? And I'm talking, they're in a room, and one of them's going to die. Who thinks going to win, 10 squirrels or a wolf?
Well,
the squirrels have numbers.
10 squirrels versus a wolf? See what I'm talking about? See, I already got you in.
Some of them might be sort of even matches where one time the wolf would win. Versus,
it's the NFL. Any given Sunday, that's what would make it fun.
So when the movie Clue came out, there were 3 different endings, and you had to go to different theaters to see the different endings. And it wasn't until it was released, on cable and all that they gave you all 3 endings at the end.
Okay.
But in the theaters, there was different outcomes depending on the theater that you went to.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
So you could do something like that with this, and then depending on how you saw it, the outcome would be based on how you're watching it.
I think the ending of the movie should be that all the animals eat all the people that bet and did this terrible thing. You know,
that the winning animal could depend on how you're viewing it. So you could change it up and not see the same thing.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
If you did do the clue thing,
yeah,
you could, because now we live in the computer age. You could make it so there's not just 3 endings. It's like odds based throughout the whole movie. Like every time you show it, it's a different outcome for the fights. That's way,
a lot of filming.
Well, it'd be like a animated thing or something. Like
Yeah.
And that way people could bet on it, even though it's not real animals. They could bet on the computer generated.
By the way, when I say a movie, I don't mean a documentary like where we actually have these animals fight.
Okay.
I'm saying,
I got that.
With that said, if I was a billionaire, 1, I wouldn't be on this podcast. 2, if somebody said, hey, you want to go to the gorilla and grizzly bear fight on Saturday? I'll say this, I wouldn't alert the authorities. I'm not saying I'd go, but I don't think I'd call the cops. No, I'd either call the cops or I'd go. I just changed my mind completely. I might go. I'm going to go.
Do you remember, I can't tell how old you are, but I'm 40, so I'm a little older.
Yeah.
So you might have been old enough. They had a thing on Fox TV channel called like Man versus Beast. And this is like maybe the early 90s, early to mid 90s.
Yeah.
And they had like a race across like monkey bars between like a human being and an
orangutan.
An orangutan. So they had things like that for like an hour or two. It was a primetime special on Fox, but it wasn't fighting to the death, but it was like...
Well, there's another idea. We could have humans versus... Because, I don't know if you guys know E.J. Watson. Yeah, you know Sarah, I know. You know E.J. Tom?
I think I've seen him around. I don't know him well.
Local Detroit comedian. He thinks that if he was in a room with, like, I think the argument was 20 squirrels, he wouldn't leave that room alive. He's kind of afraid of squirrels. He thinks that 20 squirrels would kill him. I think, like, in my bones, I know I would not die from squirrels. It's not going to, I would fucking rip them off my face. I don't care if I'm bleeding. I'm not dying. I'd stomp them like Goombas, like fucking Mario.
What if someone tied a acorn suit around you and you couldn't get it off for some reason?
Okay, an acorn suit is different. I'm dying. If I'm wearing an acorn suit, are you nuts? If you put an acorn on my ass, I'm done. As soon as a squirrel goes up my ass, I'm done.
So a good plot would be, you know how people always say, oh, we copied this airplane wing design based on some bird or something. Like they're always copying nature for things.
Yeah.
So, okay, we want to come up with these fighting robots. We want to put animals in these novel situations to see how they win the fights. Like we want to pit a viper against a lion to see if they do some fighting style that we haven't seen them do in nature before that we could copy in our fighting robots. We want more data on how the animals fight.
We could do like a Roomba versus Stingray. It would be fun.
Yeah, and eventually you could throw the robots actually in against the animals too. Yeah.
Well, I don't think that the animals don't learn. They won't adapt. Most of them won't. You know what I mean? If a snake is fighting a robotic snake, right? Is that what you're saying?
Or a robotic other animal like
kangaroo. Yeah. Well, there couldn't be like a robotic snake unless, like, what are you going to put venom in a computer and then squirt it out? And then also, animals bite other animals, so you can't. Computers are made of metal.
They don't have to be.
I don't know. I like the idea of I don't know how the movie would start. It would start with like one person going around and collecting these rich people And it'd be like, how the beginning of any sequel movie where you're going to find the guy who likes Lasso, the Texan, and then the guy who's like the city slicker, and then the girl who's like whatever, fuck society, and then the girl who's like, Miss Prissy or whatever, but they're all super rich and they all got like one of them has flamingos in the back or something. You know what I mean? That somebody collects all these rich people and gets them together for this bit. And he runs the sports book essentially. I don't know who the main character would be. Maybe the guy who runs the sports book, and he decides at the end to unleash the animals upon all the rich.
Do you have any actors in mind?
Jack Nicholson.
Is he like the most evil?
Overlord.
Wolf?
Or
probably.
Wolf, because of the movie Wolf.
Actually, I've never seen that.
Very late to the joke.
No, I got lucky. It wasn't a joke. I didn't know that was a movie.
Some actors maybe do look like animals in a way.
Now we're talking.
Not that I have any good ones in mind.
Give me an actor.
Like Steve Buscemi maybe looks like a snake.
Steve Buscemi looks kind of like the guy who from Madagascar. I like to move it, move it. What's that called again?
I don't know the animal, but
lemur.
The head of China looks like a panda.
And that's not even racist because it's true. Biden looks like a White Walker from the Game of Thrones. That's another thing you could do is have actors play the animals. Don't like the idea, but I'll entertain it.
Maybe you could get, because there's a lot of actors who are animal rights people. Maybe you'd have them play against their real life persona. Maybe they would love to be like the evil animal killer in the movie.
Have Joaquin Phoenix kill a cow. Remember him talking about all the milk stuff when he won the Oscar for Joker? Watch that acceptance speech.
I'll have to pull that out.
I don't know.
Cut the footage. And we're back.
Yeah, there's going to be no footage because I'm way too lazy to get footage.
Now I just look stupid.
The girl from Heroes, the blonde girl, was like saving the whales. That was her thing.
Mm-hmm.
Melanie Griffith. She was raised with tigers or something weird like that. I remember seeing it on the news. Like her family had like big jungle animals in their house. Melanie Griffith. Now she's in the movie. She's like playing against her, like for fun, being like over the top evil, killing animals. 200
chameleons versus a human.
I guess it would depend on like the background.
They'd all have to lick simultaneously.
Chameleons just on the creep factor.
If you can't see them, you can't defeat them.
True.
Yeah, just leave them in there for 2 weeks. The person starves to death. The chameleons just keep lounging. They
just keep splattering out their tongue at them forever, and they'll never pierce skin. They don't have any.
Yeah, I saw some article on YouTube about some big cats. Their tongues are so rough that they can like rip your skin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if chameleons, but like big like jungle cats.
Huh.
They use their tongues to like soften the meat before they eat it.
They use their tongue to lick pussy.
To lick it off, yeah.
Yeah. No, to lick that, how they lick each other.
Yeah.
Too easy.
Any shows you want to plug? Any virtual or in person? Or podcasts or
at the end of the month on the 29th, Jason Filan Mars and his wife Amanda are putting on a benefit for the families of what happened in Oxford last week. And there's going to be 40 comics. It's going to run for 5 hours, and all proceeds are going to the families.
Is that in a theater or is that virtual?
At Gravcat Brewery in Oxford. It's no tickets. It's free to go. Donations are suggested, so we'll see what happens.
This has been a production of Planet Ant Podcast, powered by Pinecast.